Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I am going to just make a quick little video. Well, it's probably not going to be that quick, but basically a lot of you have asked about how I met my partner, and I alluded to it, but very much in a summarized fashion in a video about 5 videos ago. But I guess you want the whole story, and I guess maybe because it's the relationship that I'm currently in, I didn't feel super duper comfortable talking about all the details at that point in time, but that's silly. Why the heck not? I mean, I won't go into all of the nitty-gritty details, but basically the way we met is, like I said, I had just previously been on 2 one-time dates. On one-time dates with 2 different fellows who both turned out to have been a member of the Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints at some point, commonly known as Mormons. I was on an app, and my profile on the app made it crystal clear that I was not there for one-time deals. So I was looking for basically, my future life partner or what have you. Not that I expected that every person I met would definitely be that, but the whole point, in my opinion, of a meeting, a date, or whatever, was to assess whether this is definitely a no, or, I don't know, there could be a future there. We're not going to jump into anything, but there could, there's not a gate locked down that says no. That would be a waste of my time, as far as I was concerned. I was very surprised to find another like-minded individual, and he was handsome and fit. And I can't for the life of me remember what his photo was, but I just remember thinking, like, yeah, he clearly works out about as much as I do. Maybe not quite as much as I do, but, and we'll get into that in a split second, but and fitness is important to me. Now, I want to make it crystal clear that I didn't have any requirements, like they have to be as muscular as I was or anything ridiculous like that. It's just that fitness had to be a part of their life. Like, as insane as it sounds, if they somehow were magically already really fit looking but didn't do fitness at all, that also would have not been a match, although that doesn't really work out. But basically I just needed somebody who understood me, who understood why I need to eat the restricted way that I eat, and who understands that there is no question I must go for an hour to a gym 5 to 6 times a week and no pushback. Because I have been in some relationships or some dating scenarios where the guy wasn't really into fitness and just didn't understand that, no, sorry, I literally cannot go do X, Y, or Z because I still haven't done my workout today, and that is the most important thing of the day. We set up a date, and we also lived, this app told you how close you lived to each other. It said we only lived like a 1.5 miles or something like that from each other. And there was a restaurant chain in the Northwest area called McMenamins, which is like, I can't really describe it, just Google McMenamins. It has a very specific aesthetic, and I love it. I love that aesthetic, but the particular location that was near us was not one of the more inside. It was fine, but it was basically in a strip mall, which defeats the whole purpose of a McMenamins. Usually McMenamins are like, this old grade school we've converted into like a hotel, and there's a soaking pool, which is like a swimming pool but with hot water, so it's basically a giant hot tub, and with things like that where it's just really cool looking aesthetic, like old hotels, old schools, and things that have been converted into restaurants and whatnot. But this was not one of those. This was just a strip mall location, which meh. And then also I was feeling incredibly lazy. Well, first of all, so I agreed to go to meet him at that McMenamins, and throughout the day I was experiencing 2 situations. Situation number 1 is I was feeling a little under the weather, not so much so that I definitely could not have made it. But then situation number 2 is that I have massive anxiety. Because I'm such an introvert, you may not be able to tell that because of how open and whatnot I am. And this is how I am on one-on-one situations or even in group situations with friends that I've known for years. But if I am being placed in a group with people I do not know, I retreat like a turtle. And I am suffering massive anxiety. It's like almost physical pain how much anxiety I experience. Now, yes, I know there's medication for that, and frankly, yeah, I should probably look into that. You know, as old as I am, I really should maybe look at the possible, prescription side of things. But I am able to force myself. Like, you'd think, how does this work being a personal trainer? You're constantly having to meet new people. And that's the weird part about it, is yes, I do still suffer from it with regards to meeting like new clients or whatever, but the second that I'm actually meeting the client, then it's all gone. It's always the lead up to the event. Even like going to a party, like my partner's work party. He works for like this big tech company, and they have all these fancy like dinner things. And even going to those, at first, I'm, all the way up to it, massive anxiety. I feel sick to my stomach. I just don't want to do it. I would do anything else in the world besides doing that. But then once I get there, then it's like, okay, I'm here. Now everything's fine. I suffer from massive anxiety, and as a result, I do not like to go on dates, or I guess now I need to say I did not like to go on dates. At least not up until the date had actually started. So I was experiencing that. And I hate to admit it, but as a result, I would say 50% of dates that I have agreed to, I didn't follow through with. And sometimes it would take like a rescheduling of 1 or 2 times, and I'd feel so guilty about having rescheduled that I'd force myself to follow through on the 2nd or 3rd time with somebody, but then regret it because 9 times out of 10, it was a waste of my time as far as I was concerned. Had this date scheduled with him, and I'm not going to use his name because I don't know that he wants me to use his name. And that's also, by the way, why he's not present for these any videos, is he's a very private person. The weird thing about him is, I explained, I am an extrovert as far as like making these videos goes and things like that, but in my real life, this is real life, but anyways, I'm like an introvert. He's the opposite. He's like an extreme extrovert, but a very private one, who never posts anything. He has a Facebook account. He never posts anything on it, ever. The only things he ever posts is stuff that I like needle him to, or things like, we will go to like a water park or something like that, because we're really into that kind of thing. And like 75% of the time, I'm the one who posts the thing, but 25% of the time, he will go ahead and post something. Okay, maybe that's actually wrong. It's more like 90% of the time me, 10% of the time him. But sometimes he will post things, but he's not the kind of person that's like, today was a really hard day because blah, blah, blah. No, basically because of, as I explained, he grew up being LDS, Latter-day Saint, and gay, and since those two things are incongruent, he learns to clamp everything down and never share his feelings with anybody ever, and as a result, on social media and whatnot, he has zero interest. He just doesn't do it. So I don't know why I was babbling about that, but we had that date scheduled. I was feeling miserable. I was feeling a little ill, and I was suffering anxiety. So I said, oh, hey, so sorry, but I'm not going to be able to make it today. And he was like, oh, that's too bad. And then, as always happens, the more the day went on, like I sent this way early in the day, and the more the day went on, and the more I realized I'm not that ill, and I do want to meet him. We do seem like a good match. What's wrong with me? It's just social anxiety. I just suffer from massive social anxiety. So I eventually said, you know what, actually, I'm being ridiculous. If you're still interested, let's go ahead and meet today. And so he said, great, yes, let's do that. And I said, but, because I'm lazy, and I knew that if I was going to go all the way over to where this McMenamins was, I might try to cancel again. And that would be a disaster, because I would never end up meeting him, because who would want to meet somebody who's canceled on them twice in one day? So I was like, but could we move the location to, and I didn't explain this to him, but basically a very, not very nice, but like not a Red Robin. Something a little more upscale from a Red Robin, like a Independence-owned thing. Restaurant that's right around the corner from my house. So basically it would take me 30 seconds to walk to. And he was like, oh sure, yeah, I know where that is, because we lived in basically the same neighborhood. And So eventually, very, 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 very nervous and, massive social anxiety, I was wearing a blooper shirt, which I still own to this day. And spoilers, this is cheesy, but I still will put on that blooper shirt on the same date as this date happened, and we will go to that restaurant. Anyways, the point is, I know it's cheesy, but blooper, that squid thing from Super Mario Bros. By the way. But anyways, I went and sat in like the foyer or whatever you call it at a restaurant. It was obviously him, and he was there, and he was wearing a nice tight shirt that showed off his physique, which was quite nice. Bing, bang, boom, the date went well. At the end of it, as I was walking into his car, which in retrospect is kind of funny that he drove, I guess, because it was pretty close, but I guess most people drive to places. I force myself to walk long distances all the time because it's the only way I can convince myself to do cardio, basically. How long is this video going on? Oh my gosh, it's going on a long time. Let's fast forward through this. Walked into his car, and he was like, I hate to ask this of you, but just curious, you don't smoke, right? And I was like, no, I don't. And he was like, oh, thank goodness. It's like my biggest pet peeve. And I was like, mine too. And he was like, so can we kiss? And I was like, yeah. So we did. And then we said goodbye. And then the rest is history, basically. Not according to him. According to him, there was still some, he had a major frustration a couple months later. I was taking my time, okay? Because I had been in and out of some situations recently to that where I got very invested and then found out, I explained this like 10 videos ago, we're back to back, like 3 guys. I got pretty invested and then found out that for them it was pretty casual and they didn't want to go any further. So this time around, I was gonna take my time and not jump into anything, but I kind of overcorrected. And so it was months later before we kind of became official and stuff like that, which frustrated him to no end. And then there's another interesting story that I'm gonna check with him to see if I can tell about post-first date, pre-becoming official, that's kind of interesting. But that kind of really, I'm sure he won't mind. Basically, the story is this. I was, again, taking my sweet time, and then I noticed, and we became friends on Facebook, and I noticed that he posted some adventures, like hiking adventures with this one guy. I was not amused, and I thought we had never said that we were exclusively dating, and we weren't even officially boyfriends, so I have no reason to be annoyed whatsoever. But I did message him, and I was like, oh, so you are dating other people? And he was like, well, yeah, like, we haven't had any discussion, and I asked you if you wanted to go hiking, and you said you didn't want to or something like that, which I must have been busy or something because I love going hiking. But anyways, I was like, yeah, but then you went on a date with somebody else? Was it a date? And he was like, yeah, it was a date. And I was like, I have no right whatsoever to be annoyed about any of this, but I was. And that kind of helped me realize, like, oh, I'm more invested than I realized I was. So I got really frustrated, actually, and I was like, I have no right to be upset, but I am. I'm just a human. I can't control how I feel about things. So I need to take about a week to get over this. So I will get over it, but I need about a week to get over it. And within that week, I saw a new set of pictures of him on a tubing thing with the same guy. And I was furious. I was like, I told you I just needed a week to get over it, and here you are, like, doing it again, and like, I have no place to say anything. But here's the thing is, I knew his intentions. His intentions were, the moment I said yes, we were boyfriends, right? But I wasn't ready to say that yet. So I was like, if you like me so much, why are you doing this? Like, it'd be one thing if you were the aloof one and I was the pursuer, but it was the other way around. I was being aloof and he was the pursuer. So I was just like, this is really frustrating. But as a result, we had a big old talk about it, and I was like, okay, fine. Let's jump into this thing. So we did. And then the rest is history from there. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about any of that, I'm sure I left out a bazillion aspects of the story. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.